Hi, folks. Welcome back to Sourced by Cofactr, the show that cuts through the noise and gets to the good parts. I'm Ed Dodd. Great to have you joining us. Imagine for a second, just put yourself in this scenario. You just spent, let's say, $2 million developing this next generation smart home hub. High stakes, right? So you launch it, the reviews are great, everything is perfect. And then maybe 6 months later, thousands of units just start failing right in your customers' living rooms. The absolute nightmare scenario for any hardware creator. Total panic sets in. You spend weeks running diagnostics, tearing down the hardware, pulling your hair out, and finally you find the culprit. And it's never what you think it is. No, it wasn't a bad design, it wasn't a faulty power supply. It was literally because a warehouse worker 6 months earlier forgot to wear a $10 grounding wrist strap while dropping a microchip into a plastic bag. It's a terrifying scenario, and frankly, far more common than most hardware companies want to admit. Which brings us perfectly to today's topic. When you hear the phrase outsourcing electronics kitting, it's incredibly easy to form a simple, somewhat dismissive picture in your head. Most people think it's just basic labor. You probably picture a massive, dusty warehouse, someone walking down an aisle, pulling parts off a shelf, grabbing a handful of resistors, a couple of microchips, dropping them into baggies, taping up a box, slapping on a label. It sounds like pure, easily offloaded manual labor. But today, I want to completely shatter that picture. The mission here is to fundamentally reframe how you think about outsourced kitting. This demands a real paradigm shift, because when you outsource kitting, you are not just outsourcing labor. What you're actually doing is onboarding highly specialized engineering expertise. You're plugging your company into a rigorous system of risk management, quality control, and traceability. Kitting sits at a dangerous intersection. It's where standard warehousing collides with strict electronics handling rules. A kitting provider isn't just storing boxes. They're handling the raw, naked nervous system of your future product. And if a tiny mistake happens, a physical error, a microscopic spark of static, or even leaving a moisture-sensitive part out for too long, the consequences scale exponentially. We're talking catastrophic field failures, product recalls that can bankrupt a startup, and agonizing debugging cycles. So how do you evaluate whether a partner can prevent all of this, or if they're just someone with a checklist and a tape gun? I want to lay out a 3-pillar framework: quality, risk, and traceability. Let's start with quality. Before worrying about invisible failures, you need to establish the baseline, getting the exact right pieces into the exact right boxes. One of the leading thinkers on quality, Philip Crosby, defined quality as conformance to requirements. It sounds simple, but it's brutal in practice. Not mostly right, not close enough. It means correct part numbers, exact revisions, precise quantities, and only approved substitutions. Every single kit, every single time. And that's where the illusion of manual labor starts to fall apart. Many providers say they deliver high quality, but what they really mean is their people try very hard not to make mistakes. And human effort does not scale mathematically. It's like cooking. Anyone can make one perfect meal. But running a commercial kitchen, producing that same dish perfectly hundreds of times a night, that requires systems, not just effort. And in electronics, the stakes are far higher. So how do top-tier providers achieve consistency? They remove humans from data entry wherever possible. It starts at receipting. Instead of typing part numbers manually, they use barcode scanning and OCR, optical character recognition, to ingest supplier data and cross-check it automatically against purchase orders and approved vendor lists. This creates a mathematically clean data foundation before parts even hit the shelf. They also use formal incoming inspections based on standards like ANSI ASQ Z1.4. Rather than checking every part, they statistically sample shipments, large enough to be 99.9% confident in quality. If a sample fails, parts go into a formal MRB, Material Review Board. Physically, that often means a locked quarantine cage on the warehouse floor, preventing accidental use. Engineers then decide whether to return or scrap the parts. On the outbound side, systems enforce correctness. Workers scan parts, and the system may require dual verification. like a second scan or even weight-based confirmation before allowing progress. If a provider can't show how their system forces a stop on errors, they don't have a quality system. They just have a warehouse. Now, even if everything looks perfect, there are invisible risks. The first is ESD, electrostatic discharge. That tiny shock you feel touching a doorknob, it can be thousands of volts. For a microchip, that's a microscopic lightning strike. Worse, it doesn't always cause immediate failure. It can create latent defects, damage that passes initial tests but fails months later in the field. That's why you can't just ask if a provider has an ESD policy. You need proof of an S20.20 compliant program. That includes daily wrist strap testing logs. Every worker, every day. If they can't show yesterday's logs, the controls are likely just theatrical. The second invisible threat is moisture. Some components absorb humidity. During reflow soldering, when boards go through high heat, that moisture turns into steam, expanding violently and cracking the component from the inside. This is known as the popcorning effect. To prevent it, providers track moisture sensitivity levels, MSL, per JStandard 020 and JStandard 033. Once packaging is opened, a clock starts, sometimes as short as 24 hours. Providers must track this precisely, store parts in dry cabinets, and monitor humidity continuously. If time expires, parts can be baked in controlled ovens to remove moisture and reset the clock. If a provider says they just keep the warehouse air-conditioned, that's not a solution. It's gambling. The third risk is really insidious. It's counterfeit components. Modern counterfeits can look identical, with forged documentation and even recycled chips repackaged as new. Visual inspection isn't enough. Standards like AS 6081 require strict sourcing controls and quarantine workflows. Suspicious parts must be validated by standardized inspection processes, often using high-end tools like X-ray imaging. If a provider lacks this capability, they shouldn't handle broker-sourced components. Now, no system is perfect. Something will eventually slip through. That's where the third pillar comes in, traceability. Traceability determines the blast radius of a failure. A robust system must answer 3 questions instantly. Where did the part come from? Which kits used it? Where did those kits go? This requires capturing detailed inbound data, lot codes, date codes, and preserving it through to outbound shipments. If a provider needs a week to dig through paper records, that's not traceability. That's an archaeological dig. And this matters even for consumer hardware. Without traceability, a single faulty component could force you to recall 10,000 units. With it, you might only need to address 50. That's the difference between a crisis and a contained issue. Which leads to the final takeaway. You have 2 options: build these systems yourself or buy them from a partner. Building them is expensive: engineers, software, compliance, and ongoing maintenance. Outsourcing can make sense, but only if your partner truly operates at this level. Otherwise, you're not reducing risk, you're just moving it somewhere harder to see. So if you visit a provider, don't look at the shelves, look at the systems. Ask to see the MRB cages, the software controls, the wrist strap logs. If they can't show you or they rely on policy binders instead of proof, walk away. Because what you're really buying isn't labor. It's expertise that will protect your product from physics and human error. And that completely changes how you think about that person picking parts off a shelf. They're not just bagging components. They're the visible endpoint of an invisible system protecting your business. So here's something to think about. Where else in your business or even in your life have you outsourced something complex? For example, do you try to work on your car's engine, or do you take it to someone with expertise? Okay, that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for joining me on Sourced by Cofactr. I'm Ed Dodd. I hope we cut through some noise and helped you get to the good parts. We're really excited about our new PaaS service model. It's free to use, so check it out today. If you found this episode valuable, please subscribe and follow Cofactr as we continue to revolutionize electronic hardware.